Okay, everybody, good morning. This is a contract to close training. So what we're going to do is go through some of the materials and the resources that we have at our disposal to help guide you from accepted offer through to closing day. So I'm going to share my screen. Okay, so as I mentioned, contract to close. And we're going to look at today, or we're going to use today's discussion focusing on what we do with buyers when we have accepted offers. So it's going to be an overview of, again, the resources that we have here at KW, along with some of the steps that you can take to get you from accepted offer to closing day. But one caveat, this is not a deep dive into zip forms, DocuSign, or Command. We do have additional video resources up on our YouTube library that do go through those three platforms. So if you have specific questions, or maybe you want to take a deep dive into one of those three or all three, I believe the playlist is compliance and command, and we teach that every single month. So you should have a few different options from the past several months worth of classes. But what we'll cover today is the accepted offer checklist, and then just some suggestions and tips around how to manage dates, deadlines, and communications throughout the life of the transaction. So one of the things to keep in mind, especially as you get a buyer or get a client under contract, usually the communications to this point have just been between you, your clients, maybe the lender if you have had discussions with them during the pre-approval process. But you've also hopefully had some conversations as well with the listing agent leading up to, and then after you got your accepted offer. But there's quite a few additional folks that might get involved now that things are under contract. So who are the parties that might be involved? Those could be, again, the buyers, the listing agent, the lender, but now there's title companies that get involved. And many times there are two different title companies, one that the seller is leveraging and then one that the buyer's lender will be leveraging. There's a variety of inspectors that might come into play here, from the home inspector to somebody testing radon, well and water. Maybe you're having a roof or a foundation expert come in. There's potentially a transaction coordinator. You might be using one, or the listing agent might be using one. There's appraisers, there might be tenants, family members. There's a lot of people that are involved. So one thing just to keep in mind as you are going through kind of the steps in the process, just being cognizant as to who needs to be communicated with and at what point in time. So what resources and tools do you need in order to set yourself up for success? So the first one is clearly zip forms, because we've been drafting documents in zip forms. You're going to need a command in order to upload documents into opportunities that then get reviewed by compliance. And then Google is a great, the G Suite is a great tool to leverage, just your email, calendars, and Drive for sharing files. Checklists, which I'll show you how to get to on KW Realty MKE. And then timeanddate.com helps us track dates and deadlines as well, or at least helps us identify what dates we're going to be working towards. So just a quick list as to some of the things that you're going to see in the next few slides. So you've got an accepted offer for your buyer. Now, what do you do? The first thing that I would do is head on over to KW Realty MKE and take a look at, get into the Agent Hub and take a look on the homepage of the Agent Hub. Scroll down to the section labeled New Associate Resources and look for the listing and buyer checklists. So I'm going to actually exit out of here and go right into KW Realty MKE Agent Hub. And here's that section that I was referencing, the new associate resources. So I'm going to take a look here at the listing and buyer checklists. And these have all been created, so you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You can take some of these documents and use them for yourself. So we've got a new listing checklist. then an accepted offer when we have a listing, and then an accepted offer when we have a buyer. So this is the document that you'll see we're going to be spending the most time with over the next few minutes. But this is how you access them. You can download them onto your desktop or download them onto your computer, and you can print them out and start using them on your own. But if I go back here to the slideshow, really, like once you do have that accepted offer, in my opinion, the first 24 hours is really mission critical to helping you set yourself up for success, but also for your clients and the parties that are going to be working with you to be ready to go as well. So one of the things that I do is just spend a few minutes and write down, if I don't already have them somewhere in my contacts within command or the opportunity. Hi there, Michael. If you don't have the contacts yet in command, and Michael, I'm just going through this. You were the first one to join, but I have to record this, so I'm not going to start from scratch. Actually, you know what? I will. Hold on 1 minute.
It's up to you. You don't have to.
No, it's fine. Okay. I'm going to go back. Hold on. Oh no, I lost my screen. Okay, we're going to go here. So I don't know if you're familiar with the checklist that we have on KW Realty MKE, but those are where we're going to use a lot of our organizational kind of steps or processes. And you can find all of these within the Agent Hub on KW Realty MKE. New associate resources, and then listing and buyer checklist. So we're going to look today, or we're going to focus in on the buyer checklist. So if you have an accepted offer with a buyer, what do you do? Okay. So what I was saying is that really that first 24 hours is super important just to get yourself organized and set up for success. So what I like to do is just spend a few minutes organizing who is going to be part of this transaction, like the buyers, do I have their contact information, the lender, do I have their information, the listing agent, inspector, whomever might be involved. And then I need to start thinking about when are they going to need to understand updates, when are they going to need to have information provided to them, etc. And that's really where this checklist comes into play. So what I've got here on the screen is an excerpt from that accepted offer checklist that's on the KW Realty MKE website. So the first thing that you're going to do, if you don't already have your buyer's contact information in command, you're going to make sure that you add them as a contact, but then you're also going to add them to a new opportunity. And a new opportunity is created anytime you have a new listing or a new accepted offer for your buyers. So I'm not going to go in how to open and create new opportunities within command. That's a different training. But you're going to want to make sure that you have that ready to go, because you'll leverage command to upload documents into for compliance review. So the first thing that we're also going to then really, I just mentioned uploading documents. We're going to want to make sure that we have either the buyer agency agreement uploaded, or if they're not a client of ours, then the disclosure to customer document uploaded. In addition to that, we also have our KW disclosure forms, as well as our affiliated business arrangements. So those are documents that we can get uploaded into what is called the consultation phase within command. So I'll quickly just show you where that is. So if I go into opportunities, and let's just say I have, let's just look at this one, all opportunities. I'm just going to pull one up. Within the document section of the opportunity, you have to select what type of transaction it's going to be, listing or purchase. For our example today, we'll just say that we're buying a residential home, but you'll see over here on the left-hand side, there's various phases that Command helps you organize your documents into that will get you from the consultation phase all the way to close. So here I'm clicked on consultation. Anything that's indicated as required are documents that must be uploaded into Command for compliance review. So that's this section here. Then, because we do have an accepted offer, we need to be uploading those documents that were part of our offer package, as well as some additional things like earnest money receipt, maybe a home inspection report. And those are things that, again, if I go back into Command and go under the under contract section of Command, here it is over here on the left. These are the phases. If I click on under contract, those documents that are highlighted here in red with required are the ones that must be uploaded for compliance review. Now, something to take note, these documents need to be uploaded within 7 days of getting an accepted offer. So you have to have your opportunity created in Command, and then you also then have to upload all of these documents within 7 days after acceptance in order for compliance to start reviewing. So here's just a list of some of the documents that might be required as part of the transaction. If there was a counteroffer that was part of your offer packet, that would be included. The offer to purchase, any addenda like addendum A, the condition report, addendum S, if it's a home built before 1978. If this is a condo purchase, there might be some additional condominium documents that you're going to want to have uploaded, like the addendum to the record. But then you'll also be uploading the earnest money receipt as it is deposited, a home inspection report, if there is one, and then any amendments and notices as they get executed throughout the transaction will also be uploaded into Command. And then finally, if this is a buyer that is getting a loan, we'll be uploading the loan commitment or the permission to deliver that loan commitment into Command. Or if this is a cash purchase, we'll be uploading the proof of funds. So use Command as like your electronic filing cabinet, and it keeps all of your documents that are pertinent to the transaction in one place. And again, those are still documents so that need to be reviewed by compliance within and uploaded within 7 days. And then in addition, within these first 24 hours, so again, we've made sure that we have our opportunity and Command created. We've started to upload the documents that we're executing into Command for review. Then we're also going to make sure that we edit some details within Command just to make sure that we've got our opportunity defined as accurately as possible. And one of those things is adding a closing date to the detail section within Command, because that helps the compliance brokers understand how quickly they need to be reviewing these documents. Once you do have a fully executed offer, you're going to send that document back to the buyer so they have it on hand for reference as well. But then you're also going to be sending that fully executed offer over to the buyer's lender. Also, during this first 24 hours, we're going to start to figure out when dates and deadlines for the various contingencies are going to be put into place. So one thing that I like to do, and I'll show you in a second, is use timeanddate.com to help us understand the dates. But once I've got the dates written down, I confirm them with the listing agent to make sure that we are both working from the same dates. We don't want to have any discrepancy, especially in those deadlines. And then I'm also going to be sending the buyer and lender an email as well, indicating here are the key dates to our transaction. Like here's the inspection contingency due date, here's the earnest money due date, etc. So just a few resources that are helpful during these first 24 hours. Over time, you're going to realize you're going to be sending the same emails with every type of transaction. So like an offer to purchase summary, that's something that I send to every buyer. I leverage Gmail templates. I don't know if you've used Gmail templates before, but I can kind of show you what that looks like. But there are some emails that I'm sending in these first 24 hours that are the same regardless of the transaction. I
Quick,
summarize offer to purchase details. Yep.
quick question for you. Okay, I was trying to log in into the KW Realty MKE. I had to just reset my password. I didn't know how to. Can I, your videos and these, I just hire a virtual assistant. I can share this information, right? This is not something that I can't share it with a virtual assistant, right?
Oh, with the transaction coordinator?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you can share this for sure.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
Thank you.
And they're going to be doing a lot of this. If you're leveraging a TC, they are going to be the ones that are going to round up a lot of this information and send out some of these communications. But one thing that I wanted to point out, I mentioned timeanddate.com. This is something that a lot of agents are leveraging to help us figure out what specific deadlines might be part of the transaction. So if I just go to timeanddate.com and I go down to date calculator, like say we got our offer accepted yesterday, December 15th, 2024. And our first contingency is earnest money and it's due in 3 days. You just plug in 3 days, calculate new date, and it'll tell you when it's due. So this is what I'm using to start plugging in all of my like maybe 10 days for home inspection, 21 days for appraisal. This is what I'm using to figure out those dates. And then I'm taking that information and I'm sending it to my clients so they understand what we are working from with regards to deadlines. Again, I can't reiterate enough, making it part of your process to confirm dates and deadlines with the listing agent. There's been instances where I have sent dates over and the listing agent had different deadlines. And sometimes it comes down to holidays, Saturdays and Sundays. Like in my offers, I always indicate at the very end, if a deadline falls on a Saturday, Sunday, or a state or federal holiday, it gets moved to the next business day. Sometimes listing agents don't see that. So it's really important that you confirm and both parties, both sides of the transaction are working towards the same dates. I also, once they get the exciting news that they got their offer accepted, I let the buyers know that a lot of information is going to be coming their way in the next 24 to 48 hours. I'm going to be sending them information via email. Their lender might be sending them information. Their lender might be requesting information from them. So it's only natural that while people are really excited at this point in the process, it also can be a little bit overwhelming because they're getting a lot of communication. So anytime people have questions, I always want them to pick up the phone and I can walk through them, through any answers or walk through the information that I'm sharing with them live. And then also during this first 24 hours, if earnest money is included within your offer, it's really important that you get the instructions over to your buyers as quickly as possible. So they meet that first deadline within the offer. A lot of times too, I have seen this happen where buyers don't necessarily realize that that money that is going to be used for earnest money actually gets checked or cashed immediately and deposited into a trust account. So it's really important that you make sure that your buyers are aware that whatever amount of money they had indicated that they were going to be offering as earnest money, that they have that money available and it's going to be withdrawn from whatever account it is that they're going to be using. And then days, I put 2 through 25-ish. This can all change depending on the various contingencies in your offer. But, you know, during this time is when we're having home inspections. Providing, if you haven't provided a list of home inspectors for your buyers during a buyer consultation, this is probably going to be a list that I would be sending to them immediately. Once you do schedule your home inspection, confirm that date and time with the listing agent. Sometimes listing agents want you to put the home inspection through aligned showings or showing time as if it was a showing, just so it's up on everyone's radar. Once that home inspection is conducted, make sure you send the inspection report and any type of test results over to the listing agent so they have that information. But you're also going to be uploading that documents or those documents into Command as well, so you have it in one place as part of your electronic filing cabinet. And then during this time, you're going to be having communications as well with the lenders, right? You've already given them deadlines for the appraisal and the loan commitment and when closing is going to take place. But make sure you stay in contact with them just to verify that things are starting to get scheduled, that things are on track to meet the various deadlines. And a lot of lenders will keep you updated either via email or we'll give you a call just to let you know. But if it has been a little bit of radio silence on the other side, it's by all means, please pick up the phone and make sure that everybody is on time and on track to meet the deadlines that we've discussed. And then once we get through all of the various contingencies, and that last one being the financing contingency, make sure that you send that listing agent the loan commitment or the notice to deliver the loan commitment. That's kind of like the last item on the list in terms of deadlines, but then also documents that you would be sending back and forth. And then finally, if there's been any work done to the home or repairs or things that were agreed upon as part of amendments or as part of the original offer, it's always best to get copies of any lien waivers, paid invoices, and any permits that might have been pulled. You want to get those and send those over to both the lender and the title company so they have those on hand as well. Usually the title company will include those in the final packet that the buyer receives at closing, but it's helpful if you can help track down some of this information as well. Some tips during this time. So you should never send the home inspection report to a lender. They might ask for it. They do not get a copy of it. If their underwriter ever got their hands on it, they would see a lot of stuff. You don't want to give a home inspection report to the lender, but you can give the home inspection report to the listing agent, especially if you want to be negotiating repairs. So all parties have the same information that they're working from. Now, one thing to keep in mind too, during this time frame, you might be negotiating repairs. There might be changes to the closing date. Anytime you're drafting amendments that get signed by both parties, or if a party is delivering a notice, don't forget to upload those documents into Command as well and send them to the title company as necessary or send them to the lender as necessary. We see a lot of times that people forget, maybe there was a home warranty that was included within an offer that was added coming out of the home inspection contingency. And maybe we forgot to order that, or maybe it's just not showing up on a closing statement. So it's easy to kind of forget to do some of these things as the transaction is moving along. But anytime there's documents that have been provided and agreed to by both parties, which would be an amendment, or if there's a notice sent, like please send it to the lender and the title company so they're aware. I mentioned that sometimes you can schedule the home inspection through aligned showings or showing time, but at minimum, you should be reaching out to the listing agent to just let them know when the buyer and the home inspector will need access to the home by just telling them this is when we have things scheduled. And then also during this time, the title commitment is going to be emailed to you as well as to the buyers during this time. Make sure that you review everything and that your buyers review it as well. Usually if there's any questions specifically about title, the title companies are very happy to go through any details or answer any questions. But it's just important for you to be aware as to when it was sent, review it, and make sure your clients review it as well. And then that week leading up to closing, make sure you go back into Command. You've got all of your documents uploaded that need to be uploaded. Make sure that things have been approved by compliance. Again, if there's any changes that need to be made, or maybe if there's documents that need to be resubmitted, make sure you get that taken care of before closing. If there are outstanding documents that have not been approved in Command and you do close, you will not get paid until everything is approved and locked and loaded in Command. So just make sure you're staying on top of Command. And then also during this time, you can schedule your final walkthrough. Typically, that's within 3 days prior to close. And similar to the home inspection, you can set that up in aligned showings or showing time. But one thing that I always like to point out to my buyers, I try to find out where the sellers are in the process of moving out, because sometimes they're not completely out. So when you go through for your final walkthrough, it might be in a stage of transition and could be a little bit unnerving for buyers to see it. So just find out where the sellers are going to be in terms of move out at the time of the walkthrough, and give your buyers the heads up. And then also during this time before closing, I get my buyers on smart plans or any type of follow-up communications. So I have the opportunity to stay in contact with them after closing. And then when you get to closing day, you're going to be turning in, if you attend closing, you will get a copy of the closing statement and your commission check. You can drop those off at any one of our KW offices for processing. If you turn it in directly to the Whitefish Bay or to the North Shore office, expect to get commission paid out within 1 to 2 days. If you turn it into Southwest, Lake Country, Wauwatosa, or the Germantown office, it might take an extra day to get processed because we're going to be couriering them into the North Shore office. But if, say, you have a closing at the Southwest office, just turn it into the front desk at Southwest, and then they'll courier it over to the North Shore office. And then one thing to make sure after closing, go back to the listing in MLS to make sure the listing agent has entered in all of the information correctly so that you get credit as the selling agent, that your information is in there, that the sales price was accurate, that the loan type was accurate, and if there were any seller concessions or credits, that those are listed. So just make sure that the listing is closed out correctly by the listing agent. And if there's anything that needs to be updated or changed, reach out to the listing agent to have that modified. And then I can't say it enough, like so many people, once they get to closing, they don't have a plan in place to stay in contact with their clients. So make sure if you don't have folks on smart plans or any type of follow-up communication plan, that you get them in your schedule ASAP so you don't lose any momentum. And that's the best time too to start asking for reviews, is right when you close. Any questions? I can send you these slides so you've got them.
I think I just got it. Yeah, I
Okay.
found it.
Okay. Okay, good. Well, I hope you found it helpful. It's a very high level overview, but if you do need any more information on zip forms, command, what have you, our compliance in command playlist on YouTube has all previous trainings for those topics. Or you could always ask me, you could always ask Lindsay Vranick or Kathleen Wooten if you've got specific tech questions.
Got it. Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great Monday.
You too. Take care.
Thank you. Bye-bye.